One of the surprises to me is that you can become a councillor even if you're not somebody who, obviously you need to demonstrate an interest in politics and the party that you're representing, but that you haven't always been very active since student days, that the party is very open and receptive to getting new people on board. I guess the key thing is that you are there to represent your ward. In my case, that's Royal Hospital Ward, and that is very much first and foremost what you're there to do, to represent the people who live in your area. I did feel during the interview process that it was an advantage that I was interviewing for my own ward where I'd lived for about 15 years, because I felt at least I had an understanding of the issues and what it was like to live around here. The great thing is, because the process is quite long, because you have a lot of interviews and then the election itself, that gives you a good chance to get to meet other councillors and have an understanding what the council is all about. A lot of meetings are open, and I went in and sat in on some of the scrutiny committee meetings. So again, that gives you a sense of what the council does. When you're finally elected, what is great is that council there's lots of induction programmes, and there's lots of sort of training on offer, which is really good. So once you become a councillor, you're asked to sit on a number of committees. And the great thing about the council is obviously it covers so many different areas of civic life, some of them that you don't even really consider until you become a councillor. So there is scope to focus on the things that you're interested in. In my case, I'm on the Scrutiny Committee for Family and Children's Services, and that covers everything to do with children and education. And I'll be starting on the foster panel in the autumn as well, which is going to be really interesting. So far my experience of being councillor has been very positive. People have been amazingly helpful, and I've really been impressed by the kind of enthusiasm and professionalship, particularly with the officers at the council. Best bits for me have been, because I'm a lead member on Family and Children's Services, being able to get more involved with that office. Yesterday, for instance, I was visiting our two children's homes in the borough, and that was absolutely fascinating and inspirational. Seeing the work that we do with these kids, some who've had very difficult lives to date. And I also met with some that looked after children, and this is really at the heart of, I think, of what the council does. How we look after these kids. So that's been really interesting. That's probably one of the best bits. One of the worst bits is definitely being photographed. I hated that. Your ward work, that really depends on the ward you live in, and that will vary hugely. And of course the thing to remember is there are 3 councillors in each ward, so you do share the load, and also you may find that particularly when you're new, the other councillors have more experience in dealing with certain issues. And the other thing really to remember when you're dealing with ward work is that a lot of it you refer back to the council officers. In a sense, a lot of the time the councillor is acting as an interface between the council itself, which is a sort of civil service, and local residents. I think the biggest challenge for me and for any with young children is that you do have to think about how you're going to manage your time, and again the council are very understanding of that. I think they really appreciate that young people family comes first, so that's great. And one of the things that appealed to me about being a councillor was that I felt there was a level of flexibility about the way we work, which again is ideal if you have small children. But in the end, the challenges are the same for any working mum, that you've got to be prepared to juggle a bit. As for the future, if I'm honest, I think we are in a very difficult financial environment at the moment, and there is so much change going on both at the national and the local level, and we're having to manage those changes, and I'm not sure at all quite what the landscape will look like in 12 months. But that's a challenge, and that's exciting. And I really hope that, particularly as I'm kind of new and open-minded about everything, that I can be part of that change and a positive part of it, of that whole process.